What's up, guys? Welcome to Box to Box Football, and we're back here with a special transfer update. And it just seemed with 7 days left of the transfer window that usually this is when it picks up, but it's now gotten even bigger, guys. It's gotten crazy, and we could see not one mega move, but two mega moves in the space of 7 days. And we're not talking about average football players here. We're not talking about even like top level football, but the highest of the highest. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo could be on the move, plus Kylian Mbappe could be on the move, and they could swap sides in this weird triangle of teams and all sorts of stuff that's gone on. We're gonna first get into the Cristiano Ronaldo side of it first, and it broke before, and we're gonna talk about it now. And so Ronaldo did not start for Juventus on the weekend against Udinese. Apparently, rumors it was reported that Ronaldo said he doesn't want to start because he wants to find a way out of Juventus, and like Juventus kind of want to get him off the book, so we're not sure where this is going to go. With 7 days left, can they find a suitor for Cristiano Ronaldo and solve this all out? But Jack, where do you stand on where Ronaldo is? What's going to happen with Ronaldo at this moment of time?
Well, I think you and I touched on it when we went live the other day. If we're being totally honest here, I think we know that the ceiling for Juventus at the moment, without being too disrespectful and telling them that they're going to win Serie A and win the Coppa Italia, to me is not disrespectful at all. That's actually quite the compliment. But if that's their ceiling, we know that that's not a good enough ceiling for somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo. I touched on this obviously before, but what you say publicly and what you say privately are two very different things. Now, I do personally believe that Cristiano Ronaldo does want to leave Juventus. And actually, I think that it probably does Juventus the world of good if he leaves as well. We all know how much money he earns at that club. It's a really, large financial burden on Juventus. And James, if we're talking about a Dybala-Morata partnership with the, people like Chiesa, Bernardeschi, the kind of Kulusevski, the wide players they have, that's still a Juventus team, even without Ronaldo, that will probably walk Serie A this year. Obviously, they drew 2-2 to Udinese in that game. But for me, this is a guy who knows he doesn't have many top years left. And when I say top years, I mean top scorer level years left in the game. Ronaldo will still be an effective player to his mid-40s, you would imagine. But in terms of being that potentially best player in any league he's in type level, we know that Ronaldo's probably only got a couple of years left of that level of play, which is a real credit to him. And I think he wants to make sure that it's not wasted at a club that's not going to challenge. We talked about it. Juventus would be what, 7th or 8th favourites for the Champions League this year, maybe? And I think Ronaldo wants to be in a top 3 kind of contender. And that is Paris Saint-Germain. I don't believe the Man City rumours, but the PSG rumours, I believe. I do. So
Ronaldo's just been thrown all over the place, but the first thing for me with this whole Ronaldo thing is the conflicting reports. So Pavel Nedved talked about Ronaldo wasn't fit, so he couldn't play, but he will 100% stay at Juventus. Ronaldo has had a preseason, has played a number of games in preseason. And secondly, Allegri spoke just after the game and said Ronaldo was fit, but we decided that like he wasn't going to start.
Also, James, he's a well-oiled machine. This is one of the freakiest athletes in any sport we've ever seen. So without him having a tear of a muscle or something to speak of, if nothing like that stands, to just say, oh, he's not fully fit, it doesn't make any sense. You can't just pull that out of your ass and expect it to, hold.
So let me give you my interesting take on this whole Ronaldo thing. I feel like this whole thing about Ronaldo wanting to leave only really came out as soon as he seen Messi having this big money move. And I just feel like he looks at it from the point of view, Messi at PSG, he has a great chance of winning the Champions League and trumping him in so many areas. And again, as Jack has repeated on like a number of occasions, Ronaldo doesn't want to waste like his career at this moment of time. Let's be honest, he has a few years left like on his career. He's 36 years of age. He wants to be challenging, not for Serie A's, for Champions Leagues. And the fact of the matter is right now, it's going to be interesting how this whole thing is going to develop with Ronaldo, but it just feels at this moment of time that he will not be a PSG player by the end of it. Now, let's go on to the other side of it, and let's go on to PSG and their star, their young star like Kylian Mbappe, who has destroyed the game of football in the last 3 years. He's in the final year of his deal with PSG. He will be allowed to go on a free next season, and they've been trying to negotiate a deal with him. They've had like 4 or 5 contracts, just thrown back in their face at this moment in time, reportedly. But it feels like Mbappe wants to leave PSG, and it feels like Real Madrid is going to be his next destination. But Jack, where do you feel like this whole Mbappe thing is going to lead to?
I still maintain, and I'm really going to stick to my guns on this. I do think Kylian Mbappe will be a Real Madrid player. I really, really do. I think that he wants to make sure that he, has the chance to go and play for Real Madrid and be the kind of birth of that new, maybe a replacement of Benzema type role there. We know that Bale's probably not going to be at the club that much longer. We don't know how much Hazard has left at the top level. And even if that is the case, if he can stay fit or not. So I think Mbappe does see, the opportunity here, funny in a way, similar to Neymar, stepping out of the shadow of some of the top players that he's been playing with into a Real Madrid team where realistically, especially from the current players there, I mean, Benzema's a top star, but he's not in the prime of his career. Same for Hazard, same for Bale, same for Modric, same for
Technically,
Kroos.
Benzema is probably in the prime of his career. This is the great best Benzema we've seen. Yeah, I understand.
But he can go to this club and everyone's going to go, okay, we've just signed and this guy is immediately the best player on our team. PSG have a reason to sell. I think that, we can all sit here and say, oh, well, no, they don't. They're still within financial fair play. Look, I don't care who you are. It is bad business to keep the most valuable asset in football. And I'd challenge anybody on this. Kylian Mbappe at this point in time is the most valuable asset in football. And I mean that purely from a standpoint, ability, age, what he could be, all this kind of stuff, marketability as well, potential, Ballon d'Ors in the future, who knows what. I'm not saying he's the best player in the world, but he definitely has the most value in terms of trying to sign a player. Letting the most valuable player in the world go for free, that's bad business. I don't care who you are. James, you and I both want to see Mbappe play with Messi and with Neymar. Of course we do. That's exactly what we want to see. But unfortunately, dollars and cents come into it at some point. And we know that if Real Madrid are going to mount kind of really any sort of challenge going forward for maybe not La Liga, because you'd give them a shot this year, especially with how Barcelona are doing. But for the Champions League going forward, where they're at right now is not good enough. And if it's anybody's competition, the Champions League, it's Real Madrid's. So you better, that fan base, we know how toxic that fan base can be sometimes. They have very, very high opinion of themselves and high expectations. I think that the fans are going to try and suck, Kylian Mbappe through the door. And I'll be honest with you, 100 to 120. I saw rumors today about 160 million euros being put down on the table for him. I think that with a year left on his deal, and James, think about it. If hilariously 2021 is nearly over, the beginning of 2022 comes around, 6 months left on his deal, he can actually start negotiating with other clubs. And Real Madrid will not want a Man City, a Man United, any of these other Premier League teams who will have the money to be able to potentially pay for him next year. I see a number 9 spot at Manchester United, which needs filling next year. On a free transfer, Kylian Mbappe. We think Roman Abramovich isn't going to go all out to try and get Kylian Mbappe to the Premier League. I'm just saying, I think Real Madrid and PSG, there's enough for it to make sense for him to make that move to Real Madrid.
I feel like the indication is like Jack has mentioned, was just Real Madrid, Real Madrid, Real Madrid. I think he was a Real Madrid fan. There's pictures of him with like the Real Madrid logo all over, and especially Cristiano Ronaldo is his guy. And especially you mentioned the Ballon d'Or. To win the Ballon d'Or, to me, you have to be, when you're playing for Real Madrid, it puts you in such an echelon to win it that like it's almost like inevitable if you can win a Champions League. Liverpool was an interesting one there because there was rumors talking about how he was interested in Liverpool and how he would like to play for Liverpool one day. And I thought that if you're PSG at this moment in time, could you maybe tend to talk to Liverpool and maybe get a deal, a 115 or maybe a swap deal with money with a player like Salah? But I look at Liverpool and like the way they are right now, they don't want to spend the money. And my feeling on this whole thing at the start was, you know what? PSG, you might as well keep Mbappe. But then everything kind of shifts when they sign this Messi thing. When, like, as soon as this Messi deal happens, everything shifts. Because now it's like, they don't need Messi. They don't need Mbappe to win the Champions League now.
No.
Yeah? they can generally do it with Neymar and Messi, and obviously this amazing cast of players.
Also, James,
Like that.
you have to start opening the conversation up into an embarrassment of riches type level, because how much of a failure will it be if it is all those guys and they don't get it done? I
Basically.
mean, we could even say Liga.
But Jack, do you know what changed the whole thing for me? That made me realize, okay, this Mbappe thing might need to happen. Was the fact that the first game of the season he was booed by his own fans, and
Right.
if that's all, and if that's the way they feel about it, and like they know about it, and like I think PSG's made it clear that we're offering, we're trying. It's like, could Mbappe really spend a year at PSG knowing that he's going to leave, and they're going to be all happy and accepting? It's not going to happen. He will be a Real Madrid player. So, guys, the rumor is at this moment of time, the super angels, Georgia Mendes, and like Ronaldo's dad. I basically call him that because he literally is his second man. He brought the guy a freaking island. Jack, come on. But Mendes is trying to find a way how Mbappe could go to Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo could end up in PSG with his arch nemesis Messi. That to me is like seeing. Remember when Vincent Stone Cold Steve Austin shook hands at WrestleMania? That's what it's gonna feel like. Messi and Ronaldo
Or
fans coming.
like comes out with Bischoff, right? Raises his arm.
Basically, Bischoff's that's even better.
But
But
dude, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of Man City links. Now that to me is a smokescreen. That is the most blatant smokescreen we've ever seen. We're starting to witness the beginnings of a rivalry now with Man City and PSG, which is kind of a who's going to get there first, right? With the owners, right? And obviously you've got all sorts of social and historical implications of the two ownership models there with Qatar and Abu Dhabi and all this kind of stuff. I just look at it and think to myself, I wonder if PSG will look at the rumor that Ronaldo might go to Man City and just think, we can't have that. Let's sell Mbappe. Let's get him to go to Real Madrid. Let's get Ronaldo. Let's have Messi and Ronaldo play together. It's the biggest story in the history of sport. And let's just make sure we beat City to the punch.
do you really like? Okay, the Mbappe thing to Real Madrid to me is almost set in stone. But do you really think Messi and Ronaldo both in the same team? I understand it's not Messi and Ronaldo of old. If it would have been, we might as well give up on football. Yeah. But do you really think that's gonna happen? Messi and Ronaldo in the same team, Jack?
I don't. I still personally believe that we will have Ronaldo staying at Juventus because it's far too complicated, James. It's far too complicated. Messi, at the point in which he was negotiating with PSG, had nothing stopping him from doing that. Nothing needed to be signed off or taken into account or considered. It was just, you're a free man. We'd like to give you a contract to come play football with us. This would be a transfer fee of some description, getting him from Juventus into Paris. He would definitely want to be the highest earner at the club, right? We know that about Ronaldo. He's not going to take any less than he's worth. So PSG need to figure that out, which means maybe they'll need to sell a couple more players here and there. For me, I just think it makes just total sense. The smart thing to do, let Mbappe go for over 100 million euros, over 120 million euros to Real Madrid. And then I think you're in a pretty good position with the guys that you have. Call me crazy, but I think you're pretty good with the guys that you have.
Ramos, Donnarumma, Gini Maradona, Verratti, Messi, and Neymar. But
maybe Camavinga. We've seen rumors about him and PSG as well. James, I think the last kind of rumor that I saw was that the Ronaldo deal would only happen if the Kane deal was certainly not going to happen. And I just wonder again if this is a manipulated story that's just purely around kind of, hey, Daniel Levy, I'm kind of calling your bluff here, mate, because if you don't accept our latest offer, we're going to get this Portuguese guy from Turin, and he's going to come and play football for us, not your guy.
I'm going to throw a little curveball here, and to me, this makes sense. Ronaldo, if he does want to leave, I understand PSG would probably be an amazing thing right now for them. Marketing, this would be probably like, oh my days. Oh,
it's the biggest story in the history of
Jordan, Ronaldo, all them coming in one, the Nike, look, goodness. It could be a madness what could happen there. Paris, you'll probably pay $1,000 to just get to Paris from England, flight twice. But
I'd have to go. I'd put myself in so much debt just to see them both play.
I'll even take 2 COVID tests, and you know me about that. Them, but I'm looking at it from Ronaldo's point of view. Why not Manchester United? The fact that United need a goal scorer, they need a striker. Like I won't say Ronaldo's going to get in Greenwood's way, but if United want to be successful, Cristiano Ronaldo, a bona fide goal scorer. I get he's not Harry Kane, but he's Cristiano Ronaldo, even better. You
Pogba
know,
the other way as well. You know, James, I,
is
I
it,
I agree with you. I think I've thought this for a long time. I think that you both clubs solve a lot of problems actually by making that deal happen. Now, I don't think that's in the philosophy of what Manchester United are trying to do at the moment in terms of recruitment. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense across the board. And you talk about a global club like Manchester United. You know, they've made more losses than any other club in the Premier League during the COVID period. I believe it was 113 million that they lost out in revenue over the COVID period thus far. You know, that I'm not going to tell you that that's all immediately recovered from Ronaldo signing, but
oh,
we know the impact of what these global stars do. We saw what happened with Juve with Ronaldo. We saw what happened with Paris Saint-Germain with Messi, and we're still seeing it happen, and it will continue to happen.
it,
So to me, I just think it's interesting, but I think my general prediction, and James, my final little thing, because I know we want to finish up here pretty soon. I think the other thing Real Madrid are a little bit worried about, bringing in Mbappe and Erling Haaland in one summer next year, even though one of them's a free agent, that's a lot of work and a lot of there's a lot on your plate with regards to that. And there's still a lot that can go wrong. And we need to remember, if things stay the way they are, there's a Man City in need of a number 9. There's a Man United in need of a number 9. Bayern Munich, Robert Lewandowski, it's somewhat coming to an end slowly but surely there for him. So I think that Real Madrid want to get one out of the way now, so next summer they can put their whole focus and attention into Haaland.
I'm gonna say this right now, and I'm gonna end it here. I will not be surprised if Erling Haaland ends up a Bayern Munich player next season.
Neither will.
But again, guys, we'll leave it there at this moment in time.
Smartest, James, that would be the smartest move of his career. It's boring, in my opinion, but it would be for him. He's guaranteed success if he does that.
That's very true there. But guys, tell me what you think at this moment in time. Could we see a Messi and Ronaldo team at
Stop
PSG?
it.
Is that
Stop it.
possible? Mbappe to Real Madrid, will that happen? Could Mbappe find his way to Liverpool? Guys, let us know. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, guys. But thanks for watching. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.